You're listening to the Silver Phoenix Happy Hour with Blaze and Ken. And now, Blaze and Ken.
Hello, my friends. How are
How
you?
are you?
Hi, welcome to the Silver Phoenix Happy Hour. I am Blaze.
And I'm Ken. Oh God, wow,
I caught you mid drink there.
you did.
So, our guest tonight, super excited. It's Anna Roman, who is a commercial film, TV actress, and happens to be a good friend of mine. So, I'm really looking forward to tonight. Let her hair down and to really get to know her on screen. So, can't wait.
It should be fun. And
Yeah.
like I always say, you and I have known each other a long time. So anyone that knows you as long as I have, and possibly longer, I'm always looking to get stories out of them. So
I don't know if she'll give you the dirt. I don't know if she'll give me up. I don't
I'll
know.
I'll try to twist her arm.
Well, so one of the things before she joins us, there's a movie that she has that kind of reminded me a little bit. It's a little on the darker side. It's called Let the Right One In. Have you heard of it?
I know of the movies. I heard of the new series out. Yeah, I it's actually a incredible story. It's one of my favorite stories.
I'm sure that she's going to talk to us about that for sure. That's on Showtime, I know. But it kind of reminded me of something a little bit more dark and edgy. And it's on January 19th. It was Edgar Allan Poe's birthday. So I
Ah,
thought we could talk a little bit about Edgar Allan Poe because, I mean, he was only 40. He died
yeah.
when he was 40, and which just seems like such a travesty. What were your favorite works of his? Do you have any favorite works that you really enjoyed of his?
Well, I mean, his poems were fantastic.
Yeah,
The Raven, without having to say anything else, but
yeah,
Lenore was a good one. I like the story of the Cask of Amontillado. I did a film project years ago that was based on the Telltale Heart, where I actually played the lead in a student project for someone, and that was a fun experience. We did a
yeah.
modern take on it. I got I got put in handcuffs around my back as the cops were hauling me out towards the
Oh,
end. I was in those things for like a long time. Those things hurt after a while. I'm not gonna lie.
all right. We don't, we don't want to go there.
No, it was all for a role. That's all I'm saying.
Uh-huh. A
I
roll.
they left me there, and I think they forgot is what
I'm,
happened.
I'm sure they did.
Darn college kids making their movies.
I'm telling you. Well, I think I remember most like The Fall of the House of Usher, obviously The Raven.
All
There was
the
one,
Roger Corman movies with Vincent Price, Pit and the
yeah.
Pendulum.
I was kind of trying to remember. I took a trip down to like North Carolina, South Carolina, and one of the places they had this little island and it was called Goldbug Island. And one of his,
Ah,
yeah, the Goldbug.
Goldbug, yeah.
So, and they had a restaurant there that was for Edgar Allan Poe, basically, and also in Philly, there's a little because he did some writing there. So I got to visit it last April when the twins and Jordan and I went. We had a blast in Philly. It's amazing, but to know that this incredible writing was going on right there, it's just epic. So, and what else in terms of kind of the darker? Have you seen? Have you seen the menu?
No, I haven't yet. I've been really looking forward to
Oh
that one.
my gosh. So the menu to me, I just saw it and it's so dark. I love it.
Yeah.
But it was Anya Taylor Joy, Ray Fiennes, Judith Light's also in it.
I like
But I'm
her.
not going to talk about it because I want you to see it because honestly, it was just Nicholas Holt,
Yeah.
Nicholas Holt from Jack and the Giant Beanstalk or whatever he was in
Jack the Giant Killer.
The Giant Slayer or whatever it was. And then
Yep.
what was the
He was Beast in X-Men.
yeah, what was the movie he did? Remember the one where he played a zombie who had feelings?
Warm Bodies.
Warm Bodies. That was really good. Yeah, I really
Yeah.
like that movie a lot. But and what else? I think you mentioned that he was in another
He has a new
show.
one coming out. He has a new film coming out with Nicolas Cage in April called Renfield, where he plays, Renfield from Dracula. The guy who was the servant of Dracula.
Yeah.
And in this take, it's actually kind of neat. He's kind of like got these superpowers,
Okay.
and in the trailer, you see him actually help take out these criminals in a bar, and he's doing all these super freaky, cool things. And the premise seems to be that he's in a counseling group, where people are like having issues personally with like their work and their job and stress and dealing with everything at work.
Okay.
And he's trying to explain what it's like having to work for his master, his boss,
Right.
and without giving up exactly what's going on. And then all of a sudden, like as everything's happening, Dracula shows up at the group session, and it looks awesome. And Nicolas Cage is playing Dracula.
Of course he is. I can't wait to see it. Number 1, I love
Yeah,
Dracula, I love Nicolas Cage, so to me, that's like a win-win situation right there,
it
for
looks super
sure.
funny.
That's awesome. So I think we should segue now to in the kitchen before we bring our guest on,
Sure.
and see kind of what Nicole has for us. So let's roll that clip.
What's up, Ken and Plays? It's your girl Nicole, kind of in my kitchen. I want to talk about this week's topic, which seems to be flavors of the Caribbean and different places like that. And as a dietitian, I want to tell you that exploring some of these flavors, it's a great time to lean into convenience items. And I'm speaking as the daughter-in-law of a Puerto Rican woman who also does the same. So that authenticity piece is definitely there. There is an amazing freezer section full of different items that you might want to explore, whether it's empanadas or empanada dough, maybe it's frozen sweet plantains, maybe the more savory option. Any of those things are all valid and on the table when you want to create something that might be unfamiliar to you. In other places of the supermarket, the quote unquote international aisle, like, yes, you're going to find a great variety of different canned beans, which you can either season yourself or purchase pre-seasoned. Now, some of this research is emerging, but we have some evidence suggesting that adding just half a cup of beans to your diet on a daily basis can have all sorts of improvements on your overall health and influence your overall dietary quality. And we know that beans are a big staple in some of the countries that we're talking about today and some of those cuisines. So long story short, as usual, don't be fearful of the middle of the grocery store. There are great options everywhere, and you can tap into some of those options when you're exploring some of these new flavors, some of these new cuisines, making it easy and accessible for you. Ken and Blaze, back to you all in the studio.
All right. Thank you so much, Nicole. That was awesome. All right. I'm super excited. I have my friend on the show today who is an amazing actress. She does commercials, she does films, she does TV, and she does an amazing job being a good dear friend of mine. So let's welcome Anna Roman to the show. Hi.
Hello.
I don't know that you've ever met Ken. Have you met Ken, Anna?
I think I've heard of him for sure. Never met him.
So
I'm
you
I'm gonna tell you that we've met, maybe not intimately enough that we're like it might be in a memory or not, but
Was it a while ago?
it was. You and I were actually in a project together.
Wait, wait. Which one?
my project.
Oh,
One of
oh,
mine.
oh,
Speed David and
oh,
Holly.
Damon and Holly.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes,
god. Oh
yes.
my god. Like, you'll have to forgive me because my memory
It's
sucks.
it's quite all right.
I mean,
'Cause,
that day on set, anyway, that Ken was there and
yeah,
you were
there's
your
so much
task
going
was to
on.
flirt with Gerard Lobo. So I think that your focus was kind of pooled most of the time flirting with him. I gave you a tough
Vietnam.
job to do.
Have you seen him lately?
No, you know what? It's so funny. I was in Atlantic City maybe 6 months ago, and I did see him on one of the slot machines. It was Aladdin slot machine, and he was the he was the person for it. It was amazing, and
I'm
I
not
texted him right
surprised.
away. I texted right away. I said, "Oh my god, you're," and I had won like, I don't know, $150 or something on the machine. I said, "You were lucky for me. I actually won." So, but we
That's
we had a good
hilarious.
laugh about it. Yeah, I'm going to try to get him on the show because he's obviously done some really cool projects and he's kept busy too. So, I love it.
Yeah, I saw him on something. you. I saw
Yes,
him on there. He played a boyfriend or something
he
like that.
did. He did. It was kind of
Doing his
sexy, and
thing. Doing his
Listen,
thing.
I could leave you guys alone if you want to, you know.
I know
Okay.
this is amazing. This is amazing. No, we'll let you get a word in edgewise.
I'm starting to
All
feel
the
a little
girls,
inadequate.
all the
No.
girls surrounding this kid. Sorry. I mean, he was just. I'm cleaning my camera because I'm not sure I'm totally clear. So whatever.
I know it was fogging up from talking about him. I get it.
Listen, pretty much.
I'm going to jump in first because you guys have
Do
known
it.
each other a long time, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I teased earlier, like I've known Blaze going on what 10 years, I would say now, maybe more.
Yeah.
Really?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I knew
Um,
you longer, Anna.
I,
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
trying
but
to
I'm
remember.
I'm but
Yeah.
I'm always curious about someone who's known Blaze for a while too, and I'm looking to get some dirt that I might not personally know. So
Dirt. Are you looking for something very specific?
no,
Wait,
something fun actually, something
I
fun.
can't believe you're entertaining this nonsense.
See, I told you I could be somewhat persuasive.
Oh,
All it took was
no.
just saying, "Listen, I know her. Tell me something about her. All right, just give me something."
Nope,
Never
nope.
gonna happen.
That's
Blaze
right, that's
is
right.
an angel.
Yes. Yes, yes, indeed. No, no. So, all right, listen.
But you
Um,
guys, no,
Uh,
but you guys do go back a while, right?
we do.
So, and you've
We
worked
do.
together, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we've
She just helped
done.
me shoot an audition the other day.
Yeah,
Very,
fingers crossed. We
very
can't talk
helpful.
about it. No jinxing. But I did, and honestly, I did help another friend of mine, Shawn Michael, which we've talked about before on the show. But he did land a gig. I'm not going to say what it is though, just in case. I don't want to jinx anything. But he did like get 3 days, and it's a nice guest role, and
Nice.
I'm super excited for him. I'm like, I think he calls it bookings by Blaze or bookings with Blaze or something like that because
Indeed.
yeah, it was amazing. Which, by the way, I'm wearing an A just for you, Anna.
Aw, you're
Just
so
for you.
sweet. I love you.
I love you.
Your hair looks
All right.
perfect, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. It's the new hair color and everything. I'm loving it.
I like
Loving
it.
it. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So let's talk about some of your work. Let's start with the most recent thing. So,
Yes.
Showtime, Let the Right One In.
Yes.
Tell us about that and working on that set because it just sounds so cool, the concept of the show and everything as well.
Well, as you know, I play Dr. Hawkins. My episode, I think I'm in episode 3. I think I have that right. And they didn't kill me off, thankfully. I'm
Excellent.
praying that they bring me back. And yeah, I that was actually my first episodic booking, and I was forced to join the union after that.
Hmm.
I've been skating, like getting like SAG waivers for this gig or that gig. But this time I couldn't do it. They wouldn't let me. They're like, no, it's time. It's over. Free time's over. So I joined the union, and it was a lot of fun. Now, when I go on set, I'm not one of those people who likes to look up who I'm working with and Google them and find out, because I want to just meet them with no expectations. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I met the director, and I thought he was so cool. Like this guy's awesome. So down to earth, so easy, approachable. We had conversations about politics. It was just really nice. And my scene was with the 2 leads, and the whole day on set was just a lot of fun. It was very professional. I mean, from the makeup, the wardrobe, to the director, to my co-stars, like we just had a lot of fun. It was really the whole experience was very easygoing for me, and I just didn't expect that. I didn't know what I expected, but I think for me this was the best case scenario. I didn't have any issues with anybody. My scene went really well. I wasn't mic'd. They didn't mic me, which I thought was really interesting. I was like, oh shit, like I'm not getting mic'd.
They had the boom mic though, right?
No.
No.
No,
really?
they did not.
Interesting.
They did
Huh.
not. They used the mics, or They just figured, the two leads who were mic'd, my voice would just pick up, and it did. It worked out just fine. And then it was a wrap, and then it was over, and I was really upset. I was like, I don't want to go. Can't you just shoot another scene? Another scene.
Now let me ask you, because I don't know if I've ever heard this about you, or do you watch the shows that you're in? Do you watch your work?
Oh, that's a good question. And I've heard from other people, like some people are just fine watching themselves. I don't, and I do watch myself, but I don't necessarily enjoy it.
Okay.
I don't necessarily, mostly, and I'll tell you what, mostly because I'm very critical. And I'm sure you've heard this before, though, and you know this from experience. The creative process, you're just never done. You're just, it's never, you can always do more.
Yeah.
And for me, there's never enough time. I can always dig deeper, and I'm like, I could have gone deeper. I could have gone deeper,
Yeah.
And sometimes I surprise myself. Like I did this other series. It was a YouTube series called Disciplinary Actions.
Mhm.
And did you see a little clip from that or no?
I did, yes. As a
Yeah.
matter of
and
fact, we can play it right now. Stand by.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm on my way home right now. I'll be there in a few minutes. Thank you so much for staying. Yeah, okay, hold on a second. I have another call. I'll be there in a few seconds. Okay, bye. Hey Charles, I hope you got my message. I couldn't stay late tonight. My sitter has a recital and I'm on my way home right now.
Don't worry about that. I have to discuss something with you.
What is it? Is everything okay?
There was a meeting of all carrier directors and they were told to either streamline department staff or cut the overtime. We voted to cut the overtime.
What are you saying? I can't work overtime anymore?
I'm sorry, Sonia, but jobs were saved.
That's not good enough. I count on that money. I need that money.
I understand, but I don't make the rules. I did my best.
Really, Charles? Did they cut your overtime? Oh, no, wait. You don't get overtime. You get bonuses for saving the company money.
Sonia, that's not
You
necessary.
said you would help me, and this is what I get?
Sonia.
You know what, Charles? Screw you.
That scene I watched, it was screened at this Katra. Do you know the place Katra? It's on, it's in the city. It's in Manhattan.
Yeah, I was going to say it's in the city, and it's,
I
yes.
think it's on Bowery, way downtown, Lower East Side. They're known for having a lot of like film screenings and stuff like that. So they screened it there, and I watched it, and like I saw myself cry, and I started crying almost. I was like, oh, okay, that was good. that was a good scene. I went deep enough on that one. I was really surprised, and people were impressed, I guess. I'm always surprised by that too. I'm always surprised by how I affect people because I just don't expect it. And I'm always like at the bullshit meter, I'm like, you're full of shit. but they weren't, but like, you can tell the difference, you get your bullshit radar on, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that was good. I remember doing once, you know who Susan Batson is?
Susan Batson. No, Ken, how about you? Because you're pretty good at that.
No.
Tell us some things she's been in.
She's not. She's an acting
Oh.
coach.
Oh, okay.
She's a well-known acting coach, in Hollywood anyways. She's
Okay.
she's Nicole Kidman's acting coach.
Gotcha.
And,
Okay.
like she holds this one class, or I don't know what she's doing now, post-pandemic, but every year on New Year's Day, her whole thing is start your year in the craft, right? So she has this class every year on New Year's Day, not New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and it's packed. And then she works you through a sense memory, exercise, and she gives you a monologue, and every single person has to do the same monologue. And at the end of the class, she tells you, you do your monologue in front of everyone, and at the end of the class, she tells you which classes you should take. And so she told me gold dust. It's my first time taking the class. I'm like, what's gold dust? I'm just walking away, and I'm like, really? Like that was my first class with her, that New Year's Day class, and it blew me away. Like I'm a Meisner student. I took the 2-year Meisner program at William Esper, and this was my first time doing sense memory, and I was blown away.
Yeah,
like, I was really blown away. I am very grateful for my 2-year workshop because it gave me a really solid foundation in my craft, right? And everything else after that just kind of built up on that. And this was just perfect. It was just, I think I was like kind of marinating in that class for like the next 48 hours. Like 48 hours, I was just like, oh my God, what happened in that class? So anyway, this turned out to be her master class and very intimidating. Everybody's like in the craft, like super serious. You can't be in Susan's class if you're not serious about the craft. So I did my first sense memory class, and there's a lot of tears in my exercise.
I was going to say, explain a little bit what sense memory is for people who might not understand what that is. Just like an abridged version of what that means exactly.
Okay, so your acting coach will, ultimately you want to do this yourself. That's the whole purpose of taking a class, right?
Yeah.
But you're, in this case, right, my acting, Susan, walks us through something that really happened in your life that may be related to the monologue that you're studying. And then she, like, let me see if I don't want to mess this up. But so the first thing you do is think of a similar experience and then think of a person related to that experience. And she will walk you through remembering every aspect of that person and maybe the one characteristic of that person that really draws you in. So for this one, it was the eyes, right? For me, it was the eyes. And then you walk through exactly what that person did to maybe betray you or whatever may be in that monologue related to that monologue. And you kind of relive that. So it's really intense, and I highly recommend therapy.
Listen, we've had some guests in the past. I believe China Lane mentioned it. And maybe Tamala, D'Amico. They've mentioned that therapy is good.
Really,
for all of that.
As an artist, as an actor, you have to, like, you have to know who you are, what makes you tick. Maybe if you're going through a sense memory exercise, maybe stay away from certain memories that you haven't worked out in therapy, because you can put yourself in a bad place.
Right.
I kind of did.
Yeah. Have you ever had
time? I didn't know.
Yeah. Have you ever had that moment? And Ken, because Ken has done some acting as well in the past, so you can jump in here too as well. But have you ever had a moment where you have pulled from somewhere and it's either you just start laughing and you can't stop, or you start crying and you can't stop, and it's just kind of taking you out because you're there, but then you just go that extra that's a little too far?
You're
I
asking
did.
me? Oh, Ken.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
No, I
you
did.
and Ken. Yeah, go ahead.
I did Hamlet a long time ago, and I vowed I would never do Shakespeare again because, at least with Hamlet, you're on stage for like 80% of that show. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I made 2 weeks of it. But we got to the point where it's the to be or not to be scene, and I fought with the director because he wanted to do something different. He didn't want to do this, and I'm like, good, I don't want to do this. What can we do? And we found a way to build a little pit on the stage to look like a grave. We actually had dirt in there, and my thing was I got down on my hands and knees and I pulled the skull up from the ground and propped it on the mound. And I did the whole thing on my hands and knees, begging and pleading to the skull. And he fought me up until even after the performance, like, I don't know. But then I focused on this little old lady in the front row when I was doing it. And I saw her start to lose it. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, all right, I'm doing this right. I got this. And it, luckily, I mean, I kept going with it. I thought seeing her was going to pull me out of it, but it worked. And he was like, you're doing that for the rest of the damn show.
Yeah.
He's like, there was a little old lady that came up to me afterwards to say that was fantastic. I'm like, oh, good, because I think I made her cry.
Hamlet is tough. Shakespeare.
Oh, it is. It is so rough.
It is.
Well,
really...
you were in Macbeth, right?
Yes, but I played little bit parts.
Yeah.
I'm not classically trained. And I belonged to a theater group here in Weehawken in New Jersey. I haven't done anything since the pandemic started, but yeah, and they did Macbeth, and I learned so much. But I even just watching it, I was just like, oh my God, it's so hard. Like you
Yeah.
really you can't fake Shakespeare. You just can't.
No.
You can't fake Shakespeare.
No.
You know, I
It's
did my best.
yeah. I mean, that's all you can do, right? But it's like I did Antigone when I was out of college, I think in Philadelphia, and Antigone is a tough role too, like super tough. But I loved it, and because I like doing the roles that are completely opposite than you would expect me to play. But I think you've worked with Austin Pendleton before, haven't you?
I have.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I remember doing a class with him, and it was a Tennessee Williams class.
I love
And
museums.
yeah, I love Tennessee Williams too. But I will say, at that time, I had too many things going on. I did, I admit it. And I'm almost embarrassed, and I would love to just sit down and talk to him and apologize to him because I wasn't prepared. It was a class that I took for granted, that I just kind of rested on my laurels of okay, I memorized it. I can get by. And honestly, it wasn't what he expected from me, and he let me have it. He let me know. And it taught me a lesson, but it was
Wait. He let you have it?
yeah. Yeah, he
Never heard Austin like lose it on anyone.
no, he didn't lose it like yelling at me, but he did say you were unprepared. This is not what I expect from you. Like there was a whole I remember, and it was a class, and I was embarrassed for sure, but it was a good thing because Kimberly Vaughn, who was my vocal teacher and music theater teacher at the time, if you know who she is, big kind of teacher also that kind of helps you with emoting through your musicality and stuff like that with music theater. She helps everybody on Broadway basically. But I just remember she's the one that got me the class with Austin, and she was embarrassed too. Like she said, Austin talked to me, and I was mortified. I was like, and I apologized. I said, I am so sorry. I am doing like 6 projects right now, and it just my focus was not this acting class. I'll be honest, and I was everywhere else except for that acting class. But I memorized it, but it wasn't good enough. So
You had to
I learned my lesson.
memorize it?
I mean, I thought that was good enough, I think, at the time. But I learned again, you learn. I was younger, you live, you learn. I would never go into a class now unprepared, where I didn't have it completely like set, and it was such a easy monologue to kind of work through. And but what did you do with Austin? Did you take a class with him, or did you work with him in a movie?
No. I took 2 classes. I took 2
Mm,
classes. I took the Tennessee Williams class, and I took just a scene study class.
yeah, I mean,
And
he's incredible,
he is. He's so smart. He's so
and
full
he's
of
so
knowledge,
nice.
so many stories. He's so
Yeah.
sweet. That's why I'm like, oh wow, he actually said that to you.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, in the nicest way. Again, like, for me, I'm sensitive, so, he could say anything, and I'd be like, "No," because you know what? I was sensitive because I knew I was wrong. That's really what it was. I knew that I didn't do him justice. I was embarrassed myself, so, anyway. So,
Well,
alright. Go ahead,
real
Jen.
quick, actually, I'll ask both of you.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite Tennessee Williams play?
I mean, Glass Menagerie, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof are the 2 that popped into my head right away.
Yeah,
Cat on a Hot Tin Roof maybe because I love that movie, and I loved Liz Taylor with, Paul Newman, like, it just that the whole, um but yeah, I think Cat on a Hot Tin Roof for me. Night of the Iguana, I don't know, there's so many.
Night of the Iguana is good.
That's
Yeah,
the thing I did in his class, Night of the Iguana, which
yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't think I can do. I'm like, come on, man, I'm Puerto Rican.
You could
Why am
totally do
I
it.
in class? Why am I? I'm not kidding. Like, first of all, I came to acting on the late side, right? I was a dancer. Dancing has been and always will be my first love, my
Yeah.
passion, right? I mean, I was dancing in the womb. I started dancing when I was 2, 3, 4 years old. I couldn't stop dancing. I came to acting in college. I did West Side Story, favorite all time, still to this day. And by the way, did anybody see Steven Spielberg's?
Yes,
I have not yet.
I did, yes.
I was worried that I wouldn't like it. I was worried that he would, but it's Steven Spielberg, right?
Yeah.
So I watched it, and it is better than the first. Okay, I'm going to say that right now. It is better than the first. It is so much better. Like, how did he make it better? He just did. You know why? Because he cast authentic Latinos and they were
Right.
doing their thing, and it just came off so much more authentic. It was
Right.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I was telling everyone. All of my friends from the cast of West Side Story back in the day, I was just like, you gotta watch it. They were feeling the same as me, like really skeptical and like, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm like, you better take your Puerto Rican ass. You better go watch that movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Do you have memories, Anna, growing up of your favorite films? You
West
know,
Side
did you
Story
have a
was one
role
of my
model?
favorites. West
Yeah.
Side Story was one of my favorites, but I
Okay.
didn't. I will say this: I'm glad that you asked that because there weren't that
Yeah.
many
Right.
Latinos
Hmm.
that I could emulate or like. I didn't even know. It just West Side Story. Not even knowing really, like Cheetah Rivera did not stick out for me.
Yeah.
Just the whole movie. Like I didn't even think in those terms. But today, I'm like, oh, wow. When I see an authentic Latin person cast in a film and I see the difference it has for me in watching it, I'm blown away. I'm like, imagine I'd had this when I was young. Like,
Right.
what would that have done for me?
Right.
Like, do you remember the sitcom that they remade? Uh,
Wait, one day at a time
is it One Day at a Time with the
with
Latin
Rita
cast?
Moreno. Yeah,
Yes!
Yes. Yes.
Oh
there will
my
there
God!
will there will always be a place in my heart for Rita Moreno.
Mm.
I love her. I
He
just
was
so love her.
hilarious. Everyone in the cast was
Hmm.
amazing. It was
Everybody.
I can't tell you
I
what
was actually very upset when they canceled it.
like, why did they cancel it? It was doing so great.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
no,
so
yeah.
well done, so well written. They were so talented, so funny. And as a Latin woman watching a whole Latin cast, I was like, wow, look, that's my life up there. That's what I grew up with. I didn't
Yeah.
have that growing up. Not unless it was, Speedy Gonzalez. Iba, ándale, ándale, iba.
Ah.
I can't even laugh at that because it's so wrong.
I love it though. I mean, I grew up with
No,
it.
I mean you laugh at it, but I'm just like, that's horrible.
I
Speedy
heard it got
Gonzalez is the
canceled, and I was like,
character that
why?
you.
I'm not complaining.
It's
Why is
funny,
it
but
canceled? Bring
the
that
the
shit back. I want to watch me some Speedy Gonzalez.
the I have a friend who loves pineapples, and she has a pineapple party every year, Catherine. And I remember I did um, the one with all the fruit on her head. What's her name?
Oh, is the
Um,
Chiquita Banana?
yeah,
Yeah.
but her name. I'm just blanking on her name right now. But anyway, I did that for her party, and I won like some golden pineapple thing or whatever. But because my costume was so
Oh,
cool.
Carmen Miranda.
Carmen Miranda, yeah.
Oh,
Because she also sang a couple songs, and then it was remade. I remember at Christmas, my brother and his girlfriend, we were showing her son some of the old Tom and Jerry because my mom has Roku TV and it only has Pluto or whatever. Like there's no television, there's no channels. So we were watching old TV, and I just remember we were looking up Tom and Jerry, and it was the one where he is the cheetah, he's the character. Boom chicka boom chicka. It was so funny. But all right, let's segue for a minute now to some of your commercials because I'm so curious. I know you did one that was or you've done so many. So just tell us a little bit about the different ones you've done and maybe which one's your favorite.
oh God.
Because you've probably seen Anna on television because she's in a million commercials.
Yeah, I did Samsung. Oh wow. Every time somebody asks me, I blank. Right now, A Place for Mom is on the air. I did, God, a law commercial. I did an insurance commercial, Mass Mutual, I think it was.
State Farm.
State Farm Insurance. Heineken.
Heineken.
Heineken. Where I slapped a dummy. Did you see that?
I did see that one. I remember that was a while ago though, wasn't it? Like,
That was a lot of fun. I did a Weight
yeah,
Watchers commercial. Oh,
and
I
she's
know.
this big.
I'm like, why am I doing a Weight Watchers commercial?
I've never really seen or been involved with a commercial production. Like, are they quick? Like, how long of a shoot are you normally there for?
Commercial productions are typically great. Like Warner Bros. I did that one too. It's a 1-day shoot typically. Occasionally it'll be 2 days, not really, but it's a 1-day shoot. You're there on set early in the morning. Oh, and there's the PSA that I did that's still on the air. I don't know why, but but yeah, it's usually a 1-day shoot. You get your call time, they dress you, they feed you, it's really professional. I did a Delsum coughing commercial. That was awesome. I literally was on, like, it's hurry up and wait, right? For a reason.
Right.
Get on set, they dress me, they put on my makeup, and they set up the shot. And I'm typically in front of the camera for no more than an hour, really. And then my day's over and I'm done.
Right.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Now the Delsum commercial, I love Delsum, by the way. Like it's the cough syrup, right? Yes, because
We were in bed. The guy I was in the shot with, there was this giant bed in this huge loft, right? And it was freezing in there. So
I saw that commercial.
We were in the back waiting, and then all of a sudden we were on set and we were literally under the blanket, under the sheets, waiting for them to set up the shot. I'm like, I'm nice and warm now. You know what I just discovered too? I just discovered that, and I didn't know this, right? So I didn't join the union, the union, because I knew that here in New York, on the East Coast, most of the commercials that are shot non-union.
Non-union,
Here.
right? Yeah.
In California, they're shot in union commercials. It's all in California. I
Right.
didn't know that. I think I'm gonna have to move. I'm gonna have to move. See, because I'm one of those actors who's like, I don't want to be a big star. I've never aspired to that. I just love the craft. Like, I love digging into the lines and creating something. I don't know. I'm fine with catching an occasional gig here and there. It just gets me really happy. You gotta love the craft, I think, personally. If you don't love the craft, you have no business being in this business.
Well, if you're not in front of or behind a camera, then what else do you do to bide your time?
I'm an executive assistant.
Okay.
During the day, it pays the bills. And I can tell you now, as an artist, I cannot do that full time without practicing my craft in some way, shape, or form. I cannot. I've actually been doing that now since I joined the union. I haven't been getting as many commercial auditions. I'm not working as much, and then my job is like super busy, and I get very frustrated. Like, I get even more stressed out at my day job.
Well, well, besides work too. I mean, like, how do you pass the time? Like, what kind of hobbies do you have? Like, what actually, what do you get? What are you able to actually enjoy during your free time?
Dancing. I dance in my apartment. I dance in my
He's got the cutest little puppy. I don't know where he is, but
Yep.
there she is. Yeah, Beanie.
I play with my dog.
Yes, little Beanie. I've met Beanie, and after Beanie barked at me for a good 15 minutes, then Beanie and I became friends. Hi, Beanie. Now we're friends now. We go on walks, and so cute. Little
Yeah,
Beanie.
like, so I actually, and I share 2 other dogs with my ex. So I have really a total of 3 dogs. There's not a whole lot of time to do. If I'm taking a class, if I'm working during the day, if I'm taking care of this little peanut who's still in training. She's a year old, and I haven't done the best job. I spend a lot of time with my family. I have a huge family. I have great friends, right? I do. I have like really great friends. So they keep me occupied. They really keep me occupied. And I try to fit in a workout every now and then and take care of my plants. I love plants. I have a green thumb. So does my mom. I got it from my mom.
She does. I think she talks to those plants a lot. That's why they're so
do.
healthy and they're so like plentiful. I guess I don't talk to mine enough. I do have like one plant. It's little. It's a Christmas cactus. Somehow I haven't killed it, but everything else, it's somehow they just don't last. But we ask one question to everybody on the show. So before we wrap, if you had one piece of advice to give to someone who wants to be an actress, and whether that's a Latino actress or not, what's your advice that you give to them?
Be consistent. Be consistent about what you want. Take classes all the time. like as often as you can. I know they're expensive and not everybody can afford them, right? But you always have to be practicing your craft, which is something that I haven't done in a couple of months. But I always have, right? I always have because you never know what's going to come up. You never know what's going to come up. And it's not like, we don't have an instrument. We can't play and practice every single day. We have to
Yeah,
work with our souls, and that can get really tricky really fast, especially if you don't know who you are.
right.
And I get very resentful at people who think that they can just get in front of a screen and just do it. That's not how it works. It's a lot more than that. There's just a lot more to do. Speech classes, movement classes, acting classes. I mean, I mean, it goes on and on and on. I don't think it ever ends. And I think as an artist, you have to just keep tuning.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Anna, for me, it's always great to see you. Thank you for not spilling any of my secrets to Ken. Um,
One
he
day.
was hoping, he was hoping. But please come on the show again, and love you. I'll see you soon. But
I
thank you so
love
much. Really
you.
appreciate you taking the time and break a leg on the 2 auditions that I helped you with too. Here's hoping, and and we'll talk soon.
Love
Pleasure
you.
meeting you.
Love you.
See
Thank
you
you
here,
so much.
Ken. Again.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers. That's my girl.
Apparently, she kept her mouth tight,
She
when I was
did.
talking about you.
That is a good friend right there. Good friend. Thank you, Anna. You guys, I'm going to put up her ticker real quick one more time of how you can learn more about Anna. It's annaromanactress.com. And yeah, that was just such a fun interview. So authentic, right? I mean, that's
Oh
why
yeah,
we're such good friends. Um, she does bring out the more fun and carefree side of me too, the dancing wherever
I could
we
totally see
go.
that. I could totally see
Yeah,
that.
she went with me actually when we took my goddaughter to Halloween, and we just had a blast in costume and just always, always, always have such a great time. Speaking of
Nice.
great time,
Yes.
as you remember, I talked last week a little bit about my trip to the Bahamas,
Hmm.
and I had a clip from about those conchs in the Bahamas. And so this week, because we talked a little bit about the darkness of that one series that she's in, Let the Right One In, and then we talked about Edgar Allan Poe, I figured that maybe I could do a little bit of a light and dark play. So let's roll that clip and see what I came up with.
All right, let's see this.
Like a bridge over troubled water. On today's episode, I am back in the gorgeous Bahamas, standing on what's touted as the narrowest place on earth. The Glass Window Bridge in Eleuthera, Bahamas, separates the Caribbean Sea from the Atlantic Ocean, and it is spectacular to see in person. Notice the dark color on the Atlantic side and the light crystal blue on the Caribbean side. The deeper the water is, the less sunlight reflects off the sea floor. So deeper parts of the ocean will have a much darker hue. Another factor is sediment and particles that are suspended in the water. My awesome tour guide Ray of Ray's Taxi made sure I was safe, and we visited only during a clear day at low tide. This strip of rock, just 30 feet wide, the Glass Window Bridge, was simply breathtaking. Bucket list item definitely checked. Well, until next time, explore, learn, love the adventure.
All right, so Atlantic Ocean, Caribbean, totally dark, chilly light. It was one of the most magnificent things I think I've seen. Um, and to be in the middle of the bridge and just kind of take it all in 360 view, and knowing that the Atlantic and that, and that people actually, and I didn't talk about this on Beachcombing on the show, but because it was just a very short clip, but people have been washed out to sea because the bridge is so narrow, that sometimes a rogue wave comes and knocks cars over. It's got some history there for sure, and it's magnificent. It was phenomenal. So I did look around before I jumped in the middle of the street and did my 360 view. But my tour guide Ray was incredible, and he kind of kept looking for cars and waves and make sure I was all right. But it was phenomenal. So
Oh wow.
yes, yes. So
Still jealous.
listen, I want you to go sometime soon too, so you can
Yeah.
experience all this great stuff that I got a chance to as well. But
Yeah.
listen, I think that's going to be the end of our show. Thank you so much to Anna Roman again for being our
Absolutely.
guest, and to Nicole as always.
Yep.
We love you, adore you, and next maybe potatoes sometime soon because now I'm feeling like Edgar Allan Poe Tato kind of sounded pretty good to me. Um,
All right. It did originally. This is the sign off. You're flagged.
I'm
That's it.
flagged, and it's only diet soda, but okay. Bye. Have a great week, everybody. See you later.
You've just enjoyed the Silver Phoenix Happy Hour with Blaze and Ken.